Here we go. Day one. I love this part here. It's warm, sunny, beautiful. It's a neat part of Big Cypress. This is awesome. The mud, not so awesome. It's hard to walk. Slippery and suctions you down. Day three, the levee walk. You see something way off in the distance, you hike for an hour, it's still way off in the distance. Four, another beautiful day. Fortunately, most of Lake O is closed, the levee is under construction, so a lot of road walking. Interesting walking through Big Sugar. Whew. It's hot and sunny, and it's February. At least I'm glad to get off the road and on the trail. Day five, all good things. This is the last road walking for a while. Be looking to get back into the wilderness. Stood in line behind Jim Kerr at the Cracker Country store. How about that? The founder of the Florida Trail. And now this road, the last road for a while, is the prettiest and quietest. The Cathedral of Palms and the Oaks. This is awesome. Nice reward after a hot day of hiking. Day six, Kissimmee Prairie. Lots of deer at sunrise.
Hikers have to come too close to the traffic.
From Crabgrass Creek, one of the prettier spots, and Jane Green Camp, the next camping is 33 miles, but about 21 miles, 22 miles in is Taylor Creek. See good water. It's kind of near the bridge, but got some protection here on this road that moves down from the bridge. So if you can't make it, this might be a place to stay and get water and get a good night's sleep. Day 9, the rain has stopped. The roads are behind me, walking through Tassahatchee. Actually, this is one of my favorite parts. It's real pretty, well maintained. I did some of it last year with my son. As usual, I was way ahead of schedule. Now I'm behind schedule. I really want to get to the next camp before sunset. It has a fire ring. I don't know why. I just really want to stay at a place with a fire ring. Might even build a fire. I don't need a fire. I just want to build one. We'll see. Day 10. East and north of Orlando. So most of the forest has been tropical kind of oak and palm, a little bit harder walking, you're stepping over roots, it's slippery, it's wet, and it's very humid today. Went through a few pine sections which were real nice. The pine forest, easy on the feet, easy to walk, trails tend to be more linear. Both are really pretty, just one a little bit harder to get forward progress than the other. Now I'm on a recreational multi-use road heading toward Oviedo, Florida. They do mountain biking, hiking, running. I've seen a lot of people on this road in the past. Day 11, the Cross Seminole Trail. If you're gonna cross a major metropolitan area, it's the way to do it. It's pretty, it's quiet, safe. They have benches, some tree tunnels, some bridges. Pretty cool. Part of the Florida Trail. Not the wilderness, but it's still kind of cool. Pedestrian bridge over I-4 north of Orlando. Day 12, also day 1 of 3 in Ocala National Forest. The moist, dark, tropical oak and palm hammocks east of Orlando have given way to the sandy, dry, slightly rolling hills of Ocala. A lot of Ocala is these longleaf pine stands, and I love walking on pine needles. Up ahead is Farley's Prairie, which is a wet prairie, but this year I'm sure will be bone dry. It was beautiful when I came here on a practice hike last month. Lucky day 13. I say lucky day 13 because I haven't seen anything on the Florida Trail north of here yet, so this is all new to me. The only thing I've seen is Fort Pickens. Went on a family Rent-A-America RV vacation about 15 years ago. I certainly hope to see that for the second time. Last night when I pushed past Juniper Springs, it was 42, which was a little chilly. Woke up several times during the night cold. Wish I had put on more layers before I went to bed. And I went past Juniper Springs, but I did stop. Don't walk all this way and walk past a wonder like Juniper Springs without stopping by and at least taking a quick look. But there's the pieces of Americana. Here I am at the 88 store. Can't miss places like this. It's 11 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. There's already 6 people sitting at the bar. Day 14. Almost forgot to do one today. Anyway, disclaimer. Yesterday the 13th, it was not Sunday, it was Monday. So you lose track in the woods. Anyway, I've left Ocala National Forest. I'm heading, I passed through the lock already. I'm heading up toward the bike trail and we'll see how that goes. Actually, let's see which way to go here. And for the through hikers, I read a lot of blogs at day 14. You finally start to get hungry, start to feel energy. I have had trouble eating. I don't think I've lost any weight. I think I would have expected a little more energy and so forth today, except it's really hot. 2 nights ago I thought it would freeze. It was like 42 degrees, and today it's going to be 86, which makes water and fatigue an issue. One of the things you have to deal with on a through hike through the Florida Trail. Day 15. Part of this day is walking on this 10-mile rails to trails road, which it really is rails because it's covered with those railroad rocks. I swear it's the same kind of rocks I grew up with in Connecticut near the railroad versus all over Florida. A little bit hard to walk on. It's a nice straight road for 10 miles. On schedule and feeling good. I'm gonna do my video early today. Walking through Ocala National Forest, one of my favorite kinds. Tall pines and palmettos. Should rain later, so I may have to concentrate on that. And should be in White Springs tonight. When you hike the Florida Trail, you know you're gonna get a couple days like this at least. Well, here it is. The rain, and then after the rain comes the cold. Might get down to 39 degrees. But you got to be just prepared physically and maybe more just mentally to be able to just keep walking through all the rain. The rain has stopped. Yay! When it rains, it actually brings out the colors of everything. Everything gets more vivid, especially like the palmettos. And I realized between my rain jacket and the palmettos, these are perfect Florida Trail colors. Day 17, the Suwannee River hike. I'll be hiking along this the Suwannee River all day pretty much, and it's a great hike. It's what I think is the perfect hiking day. It's about going to be in the 60s most of the day. It's a beautiful, clear, blue, sunny sky, light breeze, and completely different terrain. We still have the oaks and palmettos, so it's going up, down, left, right, never the same. It reminds me a lot of hiking in New England, except for the plants are obviously different. But it's physically a little bit more challenging because you have to walk up hills, down hills. There's even a rope in one place to help you. There's a step stairs. I can see this is a very challenging trail when there's heavy rain or high water, but this year it's quite dry. But mentally, it's actually much better because as you're hiking along, every turn is an opportunity to see something, and you have a turn about every 2 to 3 minutes. And if you see something good, you just take it in. If you see something great, you stop and take a picture. If you take the turn and you don't see much at all, the next turn's 2 minutes away. That kind of keeps your mind occupied. It's a lot better than walking on a straight road for 30 miles. Yesterday I did, almost exactly on time. I got very hungry for the first time yet. I had a decent breakfast, and by the middle of the morning I ate all my morning snacks. By noon I ate all my afternoon snacks. Had a big lunch, big dinner. I bought extra snacks to eat in the afternoon, which are all gone. My feet have completely settled in. My trail running shoes now feel like slippers. There's nothing wrong with my feet. My legs are not even sore at all. Mentally, in the mornings it can be tough, but once I hit the trail, my body relaxes, my mind clears, and everything's good again. Pretty ambitious goal for myself. I'm 57, never did a through hike before, and I planned on hiking the entire Florida Trail, 1,100 miles, in 30 days, which only 3 or 4 other people have done in the last 50 years. And so far I'm on schedule, a little bit ahead. Day 18. Boy, yesterday was a really terrific day. I had a lot of fun hiking down the Suwannee River edge. So you go up, down, through ravines. There's cool flowers, cool vistas of the river. You see the white sandy beaches, the dark water, and the temperature and conditions for hiking were perfect. And I stayed at the River Creek camp last night, which was awesome. It was really cold last night, down about 40 again, and I got cold, and I figured out why. The air mattress I'm using has like no insulation, so in the middle of the night I use the foam pad from the back of my backpack, which also doubles as a seating pad, laid across that on my torso, and actually got a lot warmer the second half of the night. Was able to sleep better, so got to figure out something for the future. Today's day 19, still feeling good. First half of yesterday was as expected. It was through the Suwannee River areas. It was very nice, beautiful. Then the second half did some serious road walking. There was some bypasses, some land that was part of the Florida Trail, and now the new landowner doesn't want us on it. So there's always, the Florida Trail is always changing. Pieces of the trail are being added. Sometimes pieces of the trail are being taken away. Today is a pretty long road walk, but nice roads, rural areas, some paved roads through farmlands. As you can see, I'm walking on a sandy road and with some washboard, so not too much traffic. And I'll be doing this most of the day today. Day 19 needed more commentary. So the morning was cool. So started early, walked the country roads, and they're very, very nice. It's actually, I enjoy walking through the sort of rural areas of Florida, which is typical of rural America. I also know what a country mile is. There was several stretches where I could see ahead and the road would take a little dip or bend or turn with a little tree. It would be about a mile, and I'd take that little turn and I'd look ahead and it'd be another mile. I did take the detour to Rockies. I thought it was well worthwhile. A clean new place, a lot of selection, friendly people, post office, hot food, good supplies. So if you're thinking about it, take that southern route instead of the northern route, which has no refill. Then I moved on to Mount Gilead Church. It is Sunday. There's a lot of people there. Met the pastor. They invited me in for some cold drinks. Let me use their water, but I really wanted to get back on the trail. And went down the long sort of, they called it salt, I call it sand road, to get to Ocala. I didn't know what to expect, didn't think it would be very much. First part was kind of a prescribed burn, hard to navigate. But being back in the pines, did get back into the butterflies and hawks and all the woodpeckers and so forth, particularly like the pileated woodpeckers calling out and flying around. But once I hit the river, I was impressed. It was like the Suwannee River, except on a much smaller, more intimate scale. The water is still quite black and steep banks on either side, as you can see here. But you're walking right along the edge of it, and it's really quite beautiful and nice. So it's been an interesting day. I like this sort of river following. I call it more technical hiking. Get out the hiking poles, go left, right, up, down, run down the little embankments, use the poles to get up the next embankment, or what I call fun. Can't even believe it's day 20. And here we are, St. Mark's. Well, Phil Phelan, the current record holder, who I had the pleasure of meeting right after he finished his hike, drove him to Miami. He told me a lot of stuff in that hour drive. Anyway, he told me to get into a rhythm. I now feel like I'm in that rhythm. The hike down from Ocala was okay. A little bit of road walking, and then went to JR's. Of course, JR was behind the counter cooking himself some breakfast. He's the kind of guy who'd do anything for you. He basically accommodated everything I could possibly want to make it easier for me. He's quite famous around these parts. The first part of St. Mark's is through a wet kind of tropical area, kind of like east of Orlando. And then you get on this long grassy road. Appears to be an old roadway or railway, go over some trestles. But then you come out here. This is the cool part that everyone talks about. I saw a big, had to be 8-foot gator lying in a few inches of water, and a bunch of big fish went by, and suddenly this gator went crazy, slashed after the fish and disappeared. It was pretty amazing to see. There's a lot of sandpipers, amazing vista. I can't believe you can see this far out here. But it's really cool, and it's a beautiful day, as you can see. Fortunately, I'm a bit ahead of schedule, which is great, and it would have been pretty buggy to camp in the woods back there surrounded by swamps. If you're going to camp at St. Mark's, try to camp out here. Later this afternoon, I have my boat ride scheduled. I'll be staying at the fish camp, which will be fun, and continue me ahead of schedule heading into Apalachicola. Since I was planning on staying here, I did have my permits. I've had all the permits necessary to camp along the way. I think it's important, mainly to make sure that people are supportive of the Florida Trail Association and not be people who trespass and camp without permits and so forth, which could put our whole organization at risk. My ride, day 21, the second half of St. Mark's. Had a nice dinner and watched the sunset in St. Mark's last night. Stayed at Shell Island Fish Camp, which was much nicer than I had expected. Whoa, big fat snake. Anyway, as I was saying, you know, for the people that say they haven't seen any snakes, I think they're just not looking. They're kind of all over the place. You just give them their way and keep moving and everybody's happy. The second half of St. Mark's is a lot different than the first half. First half is the wide open marshes, salt marshes of leading out to Oyster Bay. Very expansive. Second half of St. Mark's is more dense forest. Pretty forest road as you enter, and then winding through a mixture of oaks and palm sections and some pine. Again, as a dry year, it was very nice walking. I can imagine in a wet year it would be kind of difficult walking. So it's a balmy, warm day, a beautiful day for hiking again. Mainly pine needle trails, which I love. But a weather front's coming through and things may change. It may get a lot cooler and may get some rain again. But I'm gonna enjoy today. I was walking quietly and up into the wind and startled a big white-tailed doe just off the trail in front of me. Made both of our mornings very exciting. Also some beautiful swamps and marshes passing through. A very nice spring. I got a nice... Day 22, Bradwell Bay. It is wet and mucky as advertised. Slow going, but really pretty. Oops. So the fun is kind of making up for it. Just have to pay attention to where I'm going. Watch out I don't slip and fall or anything like that. Picked up Beer Man. He's been on the trail since January. Gonna walk with me for a bit. Today's day 23, hanging in there. Yesterday was a long, hard, but good day. Just to recap, today is Ocala number 2. Yesterday went through Bradwell Bay. It was as difficult as people say. Monkey Creek was maybe hip deep. I followed the detailed directions I had gotten from someone who gives regular tours there. Stay to the left, go to the cypress that's marked, etc. Then I went through Bradwell Bay. As you saw yesterday, it was wet and swampy and muddy, but I didn't think half as bad as Big Cypress. The mud at Big Cypress had a lot of suctioning and it was really hard to get through. So yesterday, through the difficult areas, it took me about twice as long as a usual hike, but as long as expected, actually a little bit shorter. So I got a little ahead of schedule. And then let's talk about Taitai. Taitai swamps, or Taitai. Taitai is a small leather-leafed tree. They grow very densely in very wet areas. And it's kind of cool when you first start going through. The trail is kind of cut through the Taitai, and it's like tunnels. And when you're walking through a Taitai area, you can't see more than 20 to 50 feet off the trail because the foliage is so dense. The good news is that it's in bloom, and it has these stalks of small white flowers which have a little bit of a fragrance, which are really pretty. But the bad news is when you walk through Taitai, you're pretty much walking through mud or water. And it was a lot of it second half of yesterday and today. So when you think you're through Bradwell Bay and you can change your shoes and socks, don't bother. Your feet are gonna stay wet pretty much all day. But the rest of the day you're kind of in and out of a boggy area. Now the cool thing about the boggy area is you're walking on top of like a sphagnum moss. You're seeing carnivorous plants, sundews, pitcher plants, things like that, which are cool. But I'll be honest, by the end of the day, I was getting tired of the Taitai swamps. So today I've been walking through a mixture of Taitai and pine. I'm gonna stop up here to camp, and then it's a 10-mile road walk to Bristol and Blancheville. And I'll resupply there and get some rest. So far, not my favorite day. About a 35-mile road walk. It's not supposed to rain. Really windy, intermittently hard rain. And this highway is completely constant cars and trucks. Today is actually day 24. I think I said it was day 23, but I was a little preoccupied. So, crossing over, I've walked so far now that I've walked backwards in time. I'm now in Central Time Zone. And by the way, to get into Central Time Zone, I now have picked one of my top 3 worst places. Crossing the bridge from Bristol to Blountstown. It's a very long, dirty, noisy bridge with 18-wheelers going by every 10 seconds at high rates of speed. Even though there's a sidewalk, it's covered with glass. So it was very disrupting to the mind and body. And then it started with the rain. Actually hailed on me for about 3 to 5 minutes. Kind of stood underneath a tree to avoid the hail on the long highway walk. But now, back in the wilderness, walking alongside a stream, which you can see behind me, and everything's good again. Almost stepped on a coral snake. Did not get a picture. Today's day 25. Can't even believe it. I'm over 900 miles, finishing up the, I think it's pronounced the Econofia. This is a lovely part of the trail. I'm walking along the small stream river here. It goes in and out of pine forest and hardwood forest. It's really pretty. The trail's interesting, keeps you going. Day 26. Today is basically from the Ebro area to Eglin Air Force Base. The main feature of today was Nagos Plantation. It's a fairly new addition to the Florida Trail. Saved about 7 to 9 miles of road walking and through a new conservation area, which is wonderful. And Nagos is a good sampler of everything. I passed some swamps with cypress knees, some pine forests. Here I'm winding through a thicker forest alongside a stream. There were some creeks to cross, there's some boggy areas, carnivorous plants. Pitcher plants are in bloom, sundews are out. And it started out as a wintry day, breezy, windy, chilly in the low 50s, intermittent rain. but it never rained hard. They need a hard rain around here, but personally it's okay if it rains next week instead of this week. And then now it's slowly cleared up. It's still overcast and it's pretty comfortable for hiking. And what's cool about the Nagos Plantation is now I'm up on a hilltop with pine, lots of lupin in bloom, and some Florida agave type plant. And just a couple minutes ago I was down the bottom of the hill with a crystal clear stream running through some cypress, and it was very wet. So if you want to see what it's like to go through different parts of the Florida Trail by only visiting one spot, this is the spot. Some of the places may not be as spectacular as in other areas, but this certainly gives you a flavor for everything. And one more item. What's up with the time? I know when you're out in the wilderness by yourself, you lose track of time, but when I crossed the Apalachicola River, I went back in time an hour. I had to get up at like 4:45 to start walking at first light. And then I looked a couple days later, sunrise had moved back an hour. Apparently daylight savings time. So I am definitely very confused about what time it is, but it doesn't matter. Start walking when it's late enough to see, and by the time it's dark, you should be in bed. Day 27, Eglin Air Force Base. I'm now well over 1,000 miles, heading into the home stretch. Overall, very nice. I like it. The forest is quite extensive, goes on and on. The trail is perfect, well marked, easy to walk. There's campsites along the way which are just wonderful. You cross streams, things like that. So it's pretty good. Been raining all day and in the low 50s. When I started walking at first light, it's about 49. I think it's gotten up to 53. And it's actually never stopped raining. It drizzles lightly, it drizzles heavily, it's never downpoured, but never stopped raining. As a result, I haven't really seen much wildlife. Saw turkeys in the morning, saw lots of deer tracks, no deer. Part of it maybe I've been walking downwind most of the day. Not much in terms of wildflowers or insects or great views. I also had to walk through a harvesting operation of pines. It's like part of the Florida Trail is gone. I don't know how I missed that one. I read all the alerts. And as far as the weather, I know the AT people will say, oh, 53 and raining, that's a normal day on the AT. This is Florida. This is the middle of March, which is why I planned my trip this month. This is spring break for a week. And this is definitely not bikini weather. Some of the other downsides is, as large and remote of a wilderness as this is, you never really escape the noise. Coming from south to north, you're by Highway 98, and today I've been walking along pretty close to I-10. Then there's some pretty major roads that run in and out of the Air Force Base, and so the noise from the roads is always there. It's also a lot of noise from overhead jets and so forth. Not a surprise, it's an Air Force Base. And worst of all, I checked my daily briefing, and it looks like tomorrow the whole west end of Eglin is closed to the public, which includes me. So if I can't get through tomorrow on the Florida Trail because the whole area is red on the map, it says closed to all public, then I'll have to do a road walk all the way down 90 and 87, and that will not be too cool. But I'll tell you this, I'm getting close. Whatever happens between now and Wednesday morning, I'm going to get to the base of the bridge at Navarre, because on day 29 I'm going to be walking down Santa Rosa Island on the home stretch of the Florida Trail. Quick recap, day 28. The entire west side of Eglin was no entry. I had 38 hours to get from Crestview to Navarre. I'm here. Day 29. This is gonna be great. It's sunrise in Navarre. I'm walking over to the island, almost there. Got a full day on the beach. Very excited. Day 29. Gulf Coast National Seashore, Fort Pickens area. My second long beach walk of the day. It's a beautiful, bright, sunny day. Got crystal clear water, sugar sand beaches. It's a little bit chilly, still in the 40s, with a north wind about 12 to 15 knots, white caps on the bay. So basically I have the beach to myself. I'm heading up the coast to Fort Pickens. I'll let you know when I get there. What a great day. This morning, crossed over from Navarre to Navarre Beach, over the bridge at around sunrise. Saw the Navarre Pier, some people fishing there. Then turned to the west and walked through the town. And then went to a bike trail and beach walk. Beach walk was real nice. Then crossed over the road to see on the bay side through some wiregrass areas. It was kind of strange. There wasn't really much of a trail except for poles stuck in the ground. It's easy to follow, but didn't look like too many people had been there recently. And back on the bike trail through Pensacola Beach. Tried to get through that pretty quickly. And now here at the beach. One mile left. One. I can't even believe it. Here I am. Fort Pickens, day 29, or 28 days, 8 hours of walking. Not a record, but pretty fast. So here I am at Fort Pickens, and I'm thinking, now what? What do I do now? Well, the trail's right over there. I could just start walking back the other way and be the first one to do a continuous yo-yo and make it all the way back. Nah, I just want to go home. I've got a cool car, a hot wife, and a scruffy dog, a comfy bed, and a son coming home from college with 15 of his fraternity brothers. I want to be there. It's been fun, but I want to go home.